I am so proud to bring back to our airwaves and our microphones a very, very interesting woman of incredible candor and insight. Her name is Joy Tiz. She's the author of Obamanutz, a cult leader takes the White House. I have a link to her book and information at LionelOnline.com. And Joy Tiz, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back, Lionel. It's good to be here.
Now, Joy, what is on your mind today, that unique mind of yours?
Right now it's getting my green tea in me, but other than that...
Does that help? Is green tea any good, seriously? I mean, it couldn't hurt, right?
Oh, I love green tea. It's got all the wonderful antioxidants in them.
Bless your heart. Speaking of antioxidants and health, in one of your latest, some would call it screeds, I call it a manifesto, you have referred to the termination team Obama Soros Care. What is this?
Yes.
What does that mean, Joe?
What does that mean? Well, actually, if you look at George Soros' website, the OSI Institute website, you'll notice a remarkable similarity to what Obama is proposing to what Soros is proposing, the most alarming part of which is that Soros, the unrepentant Nazi collaborator, who, is a major financier of the Democrat Party, some would say an owner of the Democrat Party at this point, is a big proponent of involuntary euthanasia, starting with his own father. There's a quote in that piece, I believe, where he was talking about his father, and he got really irritated with his stubborn refusal to die already when he got diagnosed with a terminal illness.
So what did George Soros do?
Well, he didn't kill his father, but he did write him off, and to use his own words, and since then he's been campaigning pretty heavily. Like I said, if you go on the OSI website, you'll see it. He started the Death and Dying Project, where he's pushing palliative care rather than treatment for elderly and seriously ill patients, and I don't know if that's the direction we really want to go.
Well, my question is, you say that George Soros was a Nazi collaborator. Explain that.
Unrepentant Nazi collaborator. Okay. There's a lot of confusion about his history because of his age at the time. His father was able to get Christian names for the family and dodged the bullet that way, and then he went to live with a godfather who was active in the Nazi Party, and one of Georgie's jobs was to go with him to serve death camp warrants on the Jews and to confiscate their valuables. Now, you could overlook this to an extent had he taken a different tack as he became an adult. I wouldn't necessarily hold a 14-year-old accountable for everything they said and did, but in 1992 he told Steve Crofts on 60 Minutes that he had no remorse for what he did. He was aware of what he was doing, and his position was that if I didn't do it, somebody else would.
Right.
And I think that's a real statement about the man who's so powerful and such a big, powerful influence in the Democrat Party.
I don't think I read that interview because you cited it, and I don't think for a moment that he said, I'm glad it happened or I would do it again. I think he was talking about the circumstances at the time. It was
No, his exact words were, he was asked directly by Steve Crofts, did you have any remorse? And he said, no, none whatsoever. That's not an ambiguous statement, Lionel. That's pretty clear.
No, I think he didn't have a chance. So you can have remorse about something.
I think as an adult he did. See, here's where I disagree with all the Soros supporters.
I'm not a Soros supporter. And by the way, I don't want to waste time with that. But tell me about Obama's plan and how he wants to basically...
What exactly is it? There's like 5 different bills now. We're not real sure what it is, but there is a public option in it.
You're telling me that Obama's plan is like that of George Soros. So
his ultimate plan would be yes.
So you must,
if he had his druthers.
No, so you know what Obama's plan is.
Well, he's already made these statements that are pretty unambiguous. When he told Jane Sturm about her mother, when she asked him about her 100-year-old mother who had the pacemaker, and remember that one?
Who is this now? Obama?
This was out of Obama's very own mouth. When he talked to Jane Sturm, and she explained to him about her mother had gone to a cardiologist who said, oh, she's too old, we're not giving her a pacemaker.
Right.
And she saw another cardiologist, and he said, you know what, she's healthy, she's got the right spirit, let's go for it. And she asked Obama whether his plan would incorporate things like will to live and spirit, and he said, oh, well, no, I don't think we factor that in there, we'll just give her a painkiller.
Obama basically is advocating the needless death or killing of or non-care for the elderly? Is that what he said?
Well, that's silly. You can't go around saying I want to kill all the old people, but it's inevitably going to be baked into me public option pie, there's going to have to be rationing.
But let me make sure we understand this, Joy Tiz, because this is important, and I think we got to get to the bottom of this. If he had his druthers, whatever they are, whatever a druther is, President Barack Obama would have it that the elderly are killed.
I wouldn't say that. I didn't say that. He's not going to line them all up against the wall and shoot them.
Well, the sick elderly will not be.
The inevitable consequence of Obama's public option will have to be health care rationing. It's the most simple, basic mathematics on the planet.
But tell me specifically how that, in the worst case scenario, for example, you take dear old mom to the cardiologist. Mom's 100. Mom could live maybe a year more with a pacemaker. Obama would say,
Well, Obama actually would not be present in the room.
Well, I thank you for clearing that up, Joe.
The doctor was.
Thank you for clearing that up. I thought we would take her to the White House and the president would be in the room with our cardiologist. But give me the worst case scenario. What does Obama really want? The scenario
is the inevitable scenario where the government is going to determine who gets these extraordinary medical procedures, who gets life-extending procedures. And it's going to be based strictly on cost-benefit analysis, and we're going to have a shortage of physicians.
Now,
the rationing is inevitable. It can't be taken out of the equation.
Now, Joy Tiz, some might say that with about 40, million people without health insurance, without the ability to get any insurance now, that's precisely what the government is doing by not providing the ability to have health insurance paid for. We're doing that now.
Where are you getting the 47 million?
No, but we're doing that right now by denying.
But it's not 47 million.
What is the number?
It's closer to 15 million if you factor out the illegal aliens and the people who aren't actively interested in health insurance, the 22-year-olds who really don't care and really don't feel like they need it.
Well, put it this way. Speaking of, since you are a student of the Holocaust was about 6 million. So we're talking about 15 million in terms of numbers. Now, not that they're all going to die. But what is the difference between us turning our backs on people who right now need medical attention, who aren't old, but who could benefit tremendously from health care, and allowing them to die?
The infrastructure for that is already in place. We already have Medicare and Medicaid.
Not if you're 30 years old.
Program. Yeah, if you financially qualify, you certainly can get Medicaid. And my suggestion would be, rather than trashing the entire system, maybe we need to look at retweaking Medicare and Medicaid first.
But that's a government program. That's more nationalism. That's more socialism, isn't it?
Actually, Medicaid comes from the state.
That's still socialism.
Look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't help anybody. I think there are truly hard cases out there.
Whom should we not help? If you had your dream.
Well, illegal aliens would definitely be
okay,
at the top
let's
of my
exclude
list.
those. All right, fine. Who would you not help?
Well, they're actually not getting screwed at all. They're in the emergency room right now.
No, but you can't go to an emergency room for a physical, for a screening, colonoscopy. You can't do that, and you know better than that. Who would you not treat if you had your way?
What do you mean not treat? I would treat anybody who can pay for it.
Yeah, but okay, those who can't pay for it, including children, which represent a tremendous number. Would you count that in the TIS health care?
Again, I think that there is already a structure in place to deal with that. We've got Medicaid, we've got Medicare, we've got the SHIP program. We're talking specifically about children. California has a special program for kids. It's the way
you're saying that there is really no need.
It's not like every time I drive by the hospital, there's bodies stacking up in the street. People are being treated. The healthcare system is not the problem. The health insurance system needs some rework.
But Joy Tiz, the author of Obamanutz, a cult leader takes the White House. If this continues, there will be the rampant wholesale slaughter of the elderly sick, correct?
Yes.
From your words,
terrible.
You said it. Joy, let's talk again. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day. I can't believe that. Would you flag that, Mr. Miggs?